showed me that Lil Reese got shot in Chicago.
I did see that. Lil Durk apparently said he's good.
Correction, it was in the suburbs. I'm sorry, out by Country Club.
You know, it was like Country Club Hills.
Yeah.
Which the thing is, at one point that was definitely the suburbs, but that's changing a lot.
Maybe it has.
Or Hazelcrest. It's interesting. So I used to have a lot of family in Hazelcrest. My dad lived in Hazelcrest back in the day.
Word.
Like south suburbs.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know?
I have a lot of friends like from Rich Central and but apparently that area is because they pushed a lot of the people who were in the city.
Yep.
Well, it's when they tore all the projects down.
Yeah.
Facts.
So they pushed a lot of people into what's considered to be the suburbs. So the demographics of Chicago are changing in a lot of ways.
So they have shifted.
Yeah.
I think it hasn't. Like it happened. What, they tore all the projects down. A lot of them like 15 years ago. Right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Give or take. When I first,
the majority, not all of them, but at that time.
When I first moved,
displaced like 1 million people. Sorry, I didn't mean to keep.
No, you good.
But like that displaced like over 1 million people. I think. Like it's insane, man.
The old spot you used to live at, even didn't they tear all those down too?
When I first moved to Chicago, they still had. I think there were 2 that were still. They were either on their way. That one had been completely torn down. I stayed on the low end. There was one that was still up, and I feel
which
bad.
homes were which houses?
I feel bad because I cannot remember the name. It's where Kanye shot the home video. It's on the low end. It's going towards Chinatown. Oh man, I cannot think of the name of it. We used to drive by it when it would come up.
Yeah,
but it wasn't Cabrini. It was
not Robert
not
Taylor.
The Ickeys.
It was the Ickeys.
Was it?
Yep, it was the Ickeys.
They stayed up a little longer.
Yeah, they stayed up a little longer. It was the Ickeys. To your point, so that's crazy because I actually worked out in Country Club Hills.
What was it like when you worked out there?
It was nowhere near what you guys are describing or what's happening now.
I still don't think Country Club Hills is like.
It's not rough, but
it's not rough. Like
it used to be. Okay, that's where if you had a little money.
Yeah.
You know, the people who I remember knowing from the south suburbs, they had a different vibe than the people who were actually in the city, if you will.
Yeah. Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Because I went to school with so many people from Chicago at SIU Carbondale.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but all, you know what I'm saying? I was friends with everybody because I didn't know any better. I was like, well, I'm from St. Louis, so I don't know what these different sides.
Yeah,
I just knew the people from the west side of Chicago were a little bit more like crucial conflict. Than,
how far south? How far south of the city is considered the suburbs, though?
Country Club is like 167th out that way.
So I want to say, is it outside of 120 something or 130 something?
Oh yeah,
outside the city?
It's past that.
Okay,
Yeah, it's past that.
No, I'm saying it's considered outside the city of Chicago. I know 111th is still in the city.
That's the city. I stayed off 127th, and that was considered Blue Island where I was at. So
that may be
somewhere in that area. Yeah. To your point, in all the hundreds, 115th, Racine, all those areas, those are still the hundreds. But when I was in Country Club Hills, it had a suburb vibe to it, you know. But it's just crazy because he actually got shot in the neck from what I heard.
Yeah, and I did hear that. That was confirmed.
But with Dirk saying that he's okay, I don't know what that means. I mean, hopefully that's the case because you don't want to see anybody get killed.
And actually, I read he technically went to the hospital in Hazelcrest.
Oh, okay.
So he got shot in Country Club Hills. And what's weird about, or it's not that weird, is that the cops just found the car in the middle of the street.
Oh, word?
With no one in it. And then they asked around all the local hospitals, and they'd heard about a man who had just been admitted for being shot in the neck at the Hazelcrest Hospital. So that's tough. He wasn't found by the police in his car.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough, man. And
yeah, I hope he rests up, man.
And hopefully, things have. That's one thing that has definitely changed in Chicago. Well, I don't want to say changed. I want to say it's heightened, like in terms of things like that happening. When I was up there, and we talking 05, 06, somewhere in there, like it was still cracking, but like now it just continues to get worse, and the killings and just people getting younger and younger that are out here doing it. And you just got to be careful, man. Like any neighborhood, especially I stayed on the south side, so I was in Inglewood and all those areas like that. You just got to be careful, man, because I always tell people when rappers come from Chicago, and this is my opinion, when rappers come from Chicago and they are in the streets or making street music, I believe them when they come from Chicago. Now, I can't speak for anywhere else. I'm not saying they the toughest city. I'm not saying that. Based off my experiences, these dudes are about that action that are there. So I hope it doesn't, set off something that starts getting crazy, with Reese getting shot, because he was one of them dudes that was definitely in the street. So I just hope it doesn't start getting crazy out there, man, because them dudes, they really about that. They really are.
Well, it's easy, because I know we always talk about, well, not always, because we try to give people the credit they deserve. But when you talk about young Chicago rappers,
yep,
and the things they talk about, you got to understand this. Even when you talk about Common, if you go back to Resurrection, there's a lot of gang references littered through that album that if you don't know Chicago street politics, you just would dismiss. But since I knew people who knew that life from Chicago when I went to college, and Common, everybody looked up to Common. It was almost like that was Resurrection was bigger than illmatic,
right?
If you were at SIU Carbondale, every dorm room had a copy of that going at one point. That we, like I said, we sometimes if we can just get these young cats a chance to grow up, then we could see something different, because Common had to grow up. Common wasn't always this international ambassador that he was now.
Right. That's a fact.
We know the movie star Common, and who hanging out at the White House Common, but we don't remember young knucklehead Southside dude Common.
Yeah,
that is really just the
beef in Common,
just a couple steps away from being as far as age wise and just experience wise, from being the Lil Durks, the Lil Reeses, the Chief Keefs.
For sure.
They're just another iteration of what he was then. Like I said, I just hope, these young cats get a chance to grow up, grow out of the things that have been and being products of their environment, because you just never know who they could be if they just can make it to age 35 or 40.
That's a fact. And Common is, you talk about a turnaround, if you will, from, like you said, his surroundings from Chicago when he came up to now. Fam is just, you named all the stuff that he's doing. You know what I'm saying? And he's become a very positive figure in hip hop, period.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then, like you said, with the movies, and he even, I think he dating Angela Rye now. That's a good move. You know what I'm saying?
You bring that up pretty often.
Yeah. They broke up one time.
I feel like that's a sore spot for you. Angela Rye is no longer available.
Yeah, I fool with Angela Rye, man. But I ain't mad because it's Common, so I'm not mad at that.
Okay.
So, but no, shout out to Angela Rye if she watching. We appreciate you.
I know